Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, guys. For those of you that are watching this stream on replay, so basically in this video I'm going to explain to you why when you are an option seller, or if you are selling options in general, you should not concentrate on the dollar amount. A lot of people say like, oh, I want to collect, let's say $1, or I want to collect $3, $5, but of what? You collecting here 40 cents, you collecting $1.80, but out of what? You should always pay attention to this number here. This number here is the main thing you should pay attention, okay? And of course, we're gonna play with these two numbers here, which it is how much premium we're gonna capture from our initial premium received, okay? In this case, you're gonna use two examples. And we're gonna play on our DIT, which is days in the trade, okay? Because remember, you're gonna open this trade at 75 DTE, and you're gonna close at 50%, which means you're gonna be in the trade for 30, let's say 37.5, or if this was a 80 DTE, we're gonna be in the trade for 40 days. And then accordingly, we change these numbers here. You guys gonna see this change number because we should focus ourselves on percentage return and not dollar return, okay? Anyway, just a quick recap here of this week. A little bit of sell-off. I don't know why all these talking heads on YouTube are talking about recession, depression, or market crash, blah blah. Guys, if you think the market drop 5%, let's say 6%, it's not even 6, let's call that 6%, whatever it is, okay? After being rallying all the way back here from October last year, a whopping 62%. If you're calling a 6% crash, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be on the in the market at all whatsoever. Okay, even if this thing here turn up to be, let's say, a lower lower, a lower high, whatever it is, a lower low, guess what? This is just a normal pullback. But what about if it comes down, let's say 15%? It's a correction. But what about 20%? Retracement. And what about 30%? Great. Supposed to be living the dream. Because if this thing here drop, let's say 25% with the interest rate at 5.25, you're supposed to be living the dream. Because if the markets drop 30% with the Fed, with the 5.25 in the bag to cut, sorry, this is pretty much the definition of free money, okay? Although there's no free lunch in the word, but this is the definition of free lunch. But anyway, I hope you guys get the point. There's nothing to be worried about right now. This pullback here is just a normal pullback. It's just like FAD. It's pretty much doing what it does pretty much every single year anyway. They drop the market, okay? The smart money will buy down here. The silly money, the dumb money will be selling. And the clever money, the smart money will be buying. Simple. But what about if it become a bear market? Great. I wish you can have another bear market here. Wouldn't it be nice if this thing come down here, up here, down here, up here, down here, with the 5.25 rates to be cut? Look at this, guys. We were on the way up on the interest rate. Here, guess what? We are right up here. There's only one way from here, my friend, which it is down. If you know what I mean. If you know a little bit of economics, guys, this is a 101. Okay, very, very simple, okay? So, nothing major in my point of view. It's just usual market pullback, a little bit sell-off, taking profits, nothing major in relation to this, okay? But what I was saying to you guys, apart from this little update, because I just want to take this out of the way, there's nothing wrong this week. Of course, it'll be fun in terms of the Fed, in terms of inflation around the board, inflation is being a little bit stick. But guess what, guys? It is what it is, okay? Anyway, back to the Excel. So what I was saying to you is, I see a lot of talking heads on YouTube talking about like, oh, you need to collect $1 from when it's selling premium. From $1 from what? For example, what about if the stock cost $500? You're going to collect $1? No. What about if the stock is trading at $10? You collect $1, 10%? No, it's impossible. You're never gonna get $1 out of $10. Never. Even unless if you sell puts really in the money. Okay, otherwise it doesn't make sense. But if you want to sell put, okay, at OTM out of the money with a delta roughly 12 to 16, which you're gonna see in a second now at TastyWorks, guys, it's impossible to collect a dollar, okay? Because the thing is, look at this, for example, this first example here, okay? Let me actually go back here so you guys can have an idea where I get these numbers from. So if I open this thing here, so if I go here to IWM, so basically, as you guys can see, IWM, it is trading at roughly $290, okay? So we are selling here at 75 DTE. We're gonna, everything here is based in one contract. You can scale this to 2 contracts, 3 contracts, 4, 5, and so on. Of course, once you scale your position size, you should also scale your account, okay? And we're getting here 183, which it is the mid price of this thing, and this is our buying power. So basically, we're getting this to reserve this in margin. Simple, okay? Very, very simple. And then if we open here the option chain, as you guys can see all the way down here, our delta here is roughly it's between 12 and 13. Let's call this thing here 12. Okay, so like I said to you guys, we're gonna focus ourselves between 12 and 16 delta. In my point of view, as an option seller, it is my sweet spot. Why? Because the thing is, guys, I like to be around here. Okay, I like to be around here. I like to be around here. Actually, I did this thing wrong. Let me do again so you guys can have an idea, okay? Do properly. Because I don't want to be on the tail side, okay? I like to be around here. This is my sweet spot. 12, 16. I do not collect pennies, okay? If you collect pennies, my friend, I'm sorry. It's great. If you collect pennies in front of a steamroller, you're gonna get smashed, okay? And of course, if you sell here at the money, there's nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever, okay? Why? Because if you sell here at the money, you need to be 100% you're going to hold the stock. Because when I sell here, okay, between 12 to 16 deltas, guess what? I'm holding the stock here anyway. And if you sell at the money, you need to be even more sure you're going to hold the stock. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Because down here, there's plenty of room for us to manage the trade, roll the trade, postpone the trade, unsign ourselves if you get assigned. There's plenty of things we can do. But here, your chance, your pop of being assigned, it's very, very, very high. Here, guys, not really. Because there's plenty of time value here, and nobody's gonna get assigned with a lot of time value, okay? Nobody. It's just impossible, because those people, they're option buyers. Why they're gonna take the option and lose all those time value and pay for those time value? It doesn't make sense, okay? Because the thing is, if you exercise an option at the money, okay, you don't pay much for time value, but if you exercise an option all the way down here, you're losing a lot of money. So nobody going to do that, okay? So basically, that's what we're doing. It's very, very simple. So here in Excel, as you guys can see, I just put the number from the TastyWorks to the Excel. So this is our ticker IWM. We play here an account of $5,000. I'm gonna explain this thing here in a second. The stock is trading at $290. Our strike price, as you guys saw, actually, let me go back here. So here our strike price is 178, as you guys can see, okay? So back here to the Excel. So our IWM stock price, strike price, roughly, some brokers require 20% of margin. It doesn't mean this is 20%. I'm just saying that normally using margin, portfolio margin, things like that is roughly 20% of the price of the stock if you get assigned, which is this thing here, guys, okay? But anyway, so here we have our buying power, which is 1,784, which I showed you guys before on the platform. That's how much you need to put aside in terms of margin to sell this option. We're gonna get $1.83, and remember, we have to multiply this by 100. Don't forget, okay? This is just per contract. But each contract holds 100 shares, so 183 times 100. So basically, what happened is, okay, this 0.92, it's basically if we capture 50% of the premium, okay? Because if I change here, okay, pay attention to, actually, let me delete this thing here. Let me go Control Z. pay attention, guys, to this number here first, okay? For now, just this one here for now, okay? You guys gonna see this thing here change, okay? Remember, 0.92, it's basically, because this is 2 decimal place, but it's 50% of $1.80. Because if I come here and change, let's say we're gonna capture only 10%, 0.18. Why? Because 0.18, it's just 10% of 1.83. Okay, so you guys can have an idea. But if we capture, for example, if we capture 100%, okay, as you guys can see, we're gonna collect the whole thing, 183. In this case here, our option pretty much got out of the money. The option expired, and we managed to collect the whole $1.83. But this is very rare because we're gonna manage our trade. The sweet spot here, it is 50%. Okay, so if you collect here, for example, 50% of this initial premium capture, which is 0.92, we are going to collect 5.13%. Okay, so basically 1.3% is the money that we got at the end when you close the trade in relation to the buying power required. So it's basically is the rate is the return on capital. Capital being the buying power when we open the trade. Okay, it's mean this thing here. This is the number we need to put aside in terms of dollar wise for us to be able to capture this 5%. Very important that you do understand, okay? Because this is our 5%. So focus on your percentage, how much you want to get in terms of percentage out of your trade. Forget about all these $1, $2, $3, because the thing is, you can collect, let's say, 17 cents, okay? 17 cents on the stock that worth, let's say, $5. You probably can make way more money than collect $1.83 in the beginning with a stock that worth $210. Okay, and the 36% here, which means this 1,784, it's 36% of our initial account balance of $5,000. Okay, as you guys can see here, this one here, it is actually this one here. Let me go back here because this one here, it is Bank of America. So let me update here, BAC. So if you go back to the TastyWorks now, why now? Let me open the chain. So the same thing as I said to you guys before, but now here on TastyWorks again. So in this case here, our strike price, it is $32. Our delta here is roughly 12 deltas. We're going to receive 40 cents, which is, if we do get filled at mid price, it's going to cost us $322 of buying power, okay, to open this trade. Same thing, one contract and 75 DTE, okay? These are the numbers that we need. And of course, the stock price now at 37.6. So if you go back here to our Excel spreadsheet, same thing with IWM, okay, 5,000 initial account balance, 37.6 stock price, 32 strike price, 322, which is the buying power. We're going to collect 40 cents and we are going to close at 50% again. In other words, we're going to capture at the end 20 cents out of these 40 cents, which is 50%. The same thing that we did over here, okay? So now, as you guys can see, we are getting even better return. And these guys, it's not even annualized. I'm going to explain after which how good it is at the end. So basically, we just capture here 6.26% on a stock that's way cheaper than IWM. And look at this, only 6% out of our initial capital in terms of buying power. So that's why it's important. People say, I'm going to collect $1. Why? $1 out of what? Out of a stock that's worth 200, 50, 100, 30, 100. And by the way, I'm not even talking about here liquidity, how it is to close the trades, to open the trades, how it is to manage the trades. There's plenty of other variables you need to take into consideration. I'm just talking about here just the dollar wise in terms of premium. Because the thing is, if you go back here, for example, if this thing here doesn't have enough liquidity, it doesn't matter about these things, how much you collect anyway. The same thing for IWM. The reason I'm using here the BAC and IWM because both has decent liquidity, so you can compare apples to apples in terms of liquidity. Of course, in terms of price, it's a massive difference. It's almost like 6-1, something like that. Okay, but in this case here, capturing 50% for both, which is 92 cents out of 180 and 20 cents out of 40 cents, we're getting 6.20 and 513. And now the magic happens. Okay, these guys, it's DIT, days in the trade. Both it's open with 75 days. Let's say that we stay in the trade 50% of this DET, okay, which is roughly 37.5, one decimal place 38. If we stay in the trade with 38 days after we open the trade, remember we've been in this trade for 38 days already, and then we close at 50% premium, we capture the 50%, we got 60.4 annualized here and 49. Look at the massive difference. That's the numbers you should be paying attention, especially this one here, annualized rate of return. Even if you look at the normal return, guess what? How much you get in your money in the bank? How much you get in, let's say, on mutual funds? How much you get in buying bonds? How much you, guys, look at this, 6.2% selling options. This is the clever way. I'm not even talking about here the 10, 15, 20 other variables that we do use when we sell option. This is just premium capture and premium receive the beginning. Simple, only two variables. Actually three, because we got DIT here, which are gonna play around a little bit right now, okay? So basically, closing the trades with a 50% the premium received and closing at, let's say, roughly 50% of the days to expiration. But what if we change this 50 here? Let's say, let me go back here, sir. Let me go back here. What if we change this 50% here? One sec, guys. What about if we change this number here? Let's say now we're not gonna close, let's say, at 38, which is the half of 75, 37.5, but one decimal place. What about if we close our trades, let's say, in less, in let's say the market went up, or BAC went up, IWM went up, and then we already gained 50% of our premium. Let's say we close in 10 days. Guys, look at this. This is what I'm talking about, okay? This is what I'm talking about. So basically, now we are getting here 301% annualized, 249 annualized. So the goal is here as well, okay? But the main thing is to pay attention on these numbers here, because that's the magic number. And if you do get luck, let's say, for example, let's say we sold here, on this case here, the ABAC was trading at 37, okay? We sold here a cash secure put at 32, okay? 32, and then we received this premium here. And then after 10 days, actually 8 days here, 8 days, which is 10% out of the 75, BAC went to $40. This premium here we have decayed a lot, at least 50+%. But if you have decayed a lot, let's say 50%, and okay, we are only 8 days in the trade, guess what, guys? We're gonna get this thing here annualized. And this is the magic of options sellers, when you know your maths behind your trades. If you just trade blindly, putting trades, selling 12 deltas, 16 deltas, great, you know some knowledge, you got some idea on what's going on. But if you do not know your let's say stats behind the trade, do not press the trigger. I'm not your financial advisor. All the contents here are just for education purpose only, but guess what? It doesn't make sense, okay? It's all about numbers. It doesn't matter if you're buying, if you trade, for example, Nvidia, a $1,000 stock, okay? Or you're trading Nvidia right now at $105 stock. It's better trade maybe Nvidia at $1,000 than $105. Why? Because these numbers here might be better at this price. Okay, this is what matters for me in terms of premium capture and percentage return and annualized rate of return. Okay, and of course, take in consideration blue chip stocks, liquidity, things like that. There's plenty of stuffs, guys, you can also add to this basket here in terms of picking the right stock to trade. For those of you, and I mentioned many times, that doesn't know how to trade option whatsoever, guess what? Do yourself a favor, okay? Stick with this. ETFs, simple. But ETFs doesn't give me a lot of premium. Okay, what you do is, instead of 5, look for something like 3%. Once you grasp and you get the G's of trading option, guess what? You kind of start to manage or do the switch to stocks. Okay, of course, start with those blue chip stocks, Bank of America, Meta, or Google, Amazon, things like that. Of course, any stock can go to 0, but the chance of these companies to be disrupt is way less than something else, for example. Okay, so this is the point, guys. I hope you guys understand. I hope this video has add some value to you guys. Don't forget, we do not use ad in our channel, in our videos, so the only thing you guys can do to support our work, it is, guys, by subscribing and leaving your comments below. Okay, and don't forget, if you're still watching this video, I'm going to put, guys, all these things, all the strategy. Okay, as you guys can see here, I got plenty of strategy here, and I'm gonna add plenty more. I've got lips already, I got cash secure put, covered call, things like that. I'm gonna add everything to this PDF which you can download yourself. Just click on the first link on the description below. Okay, but yeah, just repeating myself again, pay attention to the percentage of return you're getting from selling your options. Forget about dollar, $1, 20 cents, because sometimes it's better to capture 20 cents than to capture $5. If your numbers doesn't match, it doesn't work. It's all about maths. Okay, guys, thank you very much. All the best, stay safe, and happy investing.